Hello, I'm David, here a vlog, the first of today's, I think it's the 24th Wednesday, 2021. Anyways, so I realized something when I'm recording with my phone, the farther out that I extend my arm, just like driving, is more comfortable, sort of like scooting the seat back to be more comfortable. Here's just a recording place in my mansion. Just joking, it's not mine. But here is my grandfather's club. These pictures are from the 1950s. That's called the Skyliner. And near Camp Bowie Avenue in Fort Worth. Anyways, so just wanted to make a couple of notes. I'm going to set my phone down for a sec. I just don't have a stand close by. So I realized that because I've been doing this one-handed driving in video games. When I there's a remote there. I have the controller, instead of using it like this, especially on racing games, I just sort of hold it like this. And it's the same pose from one of the villain characters in the movie Mean Streets. That's where I just figured that out. And so I just sort of have the joystick with my thumb and then the brake and throttle with my regular fingers. Anyways, well, I realized that it, just like in driving a car, right? It's the classic stand-up comedy scene of whatever, you could drive like this or whatever, like the really tall guy joke from The Simpsons. He's like, he doesn't have a lot of money, but he's like a massively tall guy, like 7 feet tall, and he can only afford like a smart car. So he drives around like this, and everybody laughs at him. And when Nelson, the TV show's bully, starts bullying him, he stops the car and he gets out of the car, and he's like this massive man. And he's like, and he explains his situation to Nelson, and and then I don't know. He sort of bullies Nelson. He's like the one guy who bullies Nelson, and Nelson's dad is also in the TV show. I don't know. I don't want to go on and on about The Simpsons, but anyways, there's a lot of funny stories about Nelson. I remember there's one episode when Bart goes to hang out with Nelson at his house to see what he's living like, because he bullies everyone at school, and then Bart goes to see what he's actually living like, and it's the domestic situation is not very great. And so, not just Bart, but the whole TV audience, everyone sort of gets sympathy for Nelson. I don't know his name. His name is like some nerdy name. He has a really nerdy name, so everybody calls him Nelson, just his last name. Anyways, so that was one, it's like a hip-hop dance maneuver, and I think the original statement of hip-hop in music was in Blondie's Rapture song. It even says the words R.A.P. Before rap music was like a real well-known thing in Blondie's music video. It's considered the first rap music video on MTV. Anyway, so she's walking on the street, in the middle of the video, and there's a guy just standing there like this, and, she stops for a second, and as soon as she stops, the guy starts just sort of doing something like that, and so it's actually hip-hop. I can't think of what it looks like now, but it's just because I never had cable television until the aughts were over. That's the 2000s, the first decade of the new millennium or whatever. Anyways, finally when I have access to cable television now, not just it used to just be regular 5 different channels or something with good programs. Anyways, so at that same time, YouTube finally started to allow music and music videos on YouTube. So I've been catching up since then, and I was always familiar with the most well-known songs from the radio. So I'd always been listening to them, but I had never realized that the music videos sort of add so much to it. A lot of full-length feature films, 2-hour movies, are based on just one line of one song or whatever. So like on one hand, you could watch a movie like Wild Wild West with Will Smith, and that's a 2-hour movie, or you could just listen to the one song, California Love, when the opening line of the song is, "Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness." So, you know, an entire 2-hour movie can be boiled into just one sentence. And that's sort of how it is to make song titles and musical genres and stuff. There's just so much there with just the audio. It's sort of like every song has a different built-in dance maneuver, like the Oompa Loompa song. I just realized a couple of days ago, there's a brief quip in the song, and the lyrics are, "I don't like the look of it," and then that can even be, you know, it can either be that or, "I don't like the look of it, oompa loompa dooba dee doo," just like that. So, you know, every song has this stuff built in, and it's sort of, you just have to feel it. Like, it's not technically hearing music or whatever, it's just, it's like feeling the music, becoming one with the music, I don't know. And so, because my name is David, you know, the section of the Bible that is known as, you know, David's chapter is, I'll just say the word Psalms, and it's spelled P-A, or P-S, A-L-M-S? I mean, is that right? Anyways, I'm not the greatest speller, but I'm like, I don't know. I just sort of like flinched up to do this, but one that I've been doing lately is actually taken from the movie, but it's like, who put this thing together? Like beating the chest, like, that, you know, gorillas actually do that in the wild. It's like how gorillas get so big is by doing this all the time. And like, you know, it's like, if you've ever seen them do that, I've only seen it on videos, but I don't know, like if they could talk, that's what they'd be saying. They'd be like, who put this thing together? Me, from a movie. And it's like how they get so strong and stuff. I was just listening to this NWA song, Gangsta Gangsta. And there's one line in it that it almost, for a split second, you think you're listening to a different NBA song. And the key word there is swole, or swell. I'd have to pull it up to see. It's at the very beginning of the song. Anyways, I could go on and on. But in one of my videos over here, I have to make sure it's still recording. It doesn't appear to be. Oh, it does. For some reason, there's that square there. Okay. Here is just some of my recent videos. Most all of them are also on my Facebook, unless they're live streamed. There is one with Mass Effect, the video game about going to Mars, and that was like one of the last videos before. Here's when the blackout was. That was during the blackout. I think that Need for Speed right there at the top was my last video before the blackout. Actually, no. This one was Venice Beach basketball. And then here, when the vlog started, February 19th, when the power was returned. Anyways, so just before the blackout, I had a video about mission to Mars. And this one here, at the top left corner, called Part 2, that's actually Need for Speed, but it looks really similar to this Shutter Galaxy. It's like if you had to name the universe, like what would it be called? It's called Shutter Galaxy. Should I even pull up the video? Anyways, in that video, it's a long video. Well, it's only 20 minutes. No, actually no. That one's 53 minutes. So it's a long trip to Mars, and towards the end of the video is actually exploring Mars. And I don't play that game anymore because there was no spaceship or rover to explore Mars. So anyways, in that video, when they sort of take like a airliner to the planet of Mars, and okay, well, there was just like 3 simple concepts that I was going to try to explain in this video. Now my cheek is itchy. I'm gonna scratch it. Okay, so what am I? There's my phone is going haywire. So anyways, so the like flight attendant. You know, people know about that Southwest airline. They have comedians as flight attendants. One thing about comedy is the movie Bowfinger from it was 1999. There's no easy way to explain the plot of this movie. There's nothing like it. As far as I know, it's completely 100% original. I'd like to see where it originates. There's no easy way to explain the plot of this movie. The only way to find it, at least when I'm trying to remember how to search it, is Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy movie. It's like the one that they're both in. And it's just technically a comedy. Anyways, so the comedian flight attendants, when they're talking about like plugging in seatbelt and airline trip safety and stuff, they make jokes. And the funniest actor, in my opinion, is Leslie Nielsen. And he has a movie called Falsely Accused that's making a mockery of the movie The Fugitive with Han Solo. And he's sitting down to have a trip to prison on a bus. Anyway, so he's sitting there in the seat or whatever, and just listening to the security guy, like the guard of the bus or whatever, and he's trying to explain to people like a similar thing about flight attendancy or whatever to call it, and he's just saying like what to do, what not to do, and it's just a list of things not to do, and everything. The punchline is always or else. Oh, and what it is about, in my opinion, is computer programming. So just the simplest way to computer program is saying a statement or typing a statement like, if conditions exist, then computer does such and such. And it's like sort of giving commands to a computer is sort of ironic and funny. Just the whole idea of giving commands like even spoken stuff to like Alexa, play such and such. And that could be dramatized to no end, where it's like Alexa, hey Alexa, help me write a computer program. Open up the notepad on my computer and just start talking computer programming language. Like if conditions exist of 3D printer can be printing stuff like vehicles to go, deliver me goods and all this stuff, and then, build something to build a house and build all this and put it all together and everything. So, voice to text programming is, a lot, just as it's, like driving like in a smart car compared to, and that would be equivalent to typing on a keyboard. And then sort of like putting your chair back and just chilling like this and driving and having a good music on and stuff. That's how it is to just use voice to text to create a computer program. Even like a AAA title video game could be written from beginning to end by a really experienced programmer just using his phone's notepad. So one of just a simple computer program would say something like telling the computer, if conditions exist, do such and such. Just like a flight attendant would be like, if turbulence happens, plug in your seatbelt. It's just the same thing. And then, or else, if the pilot turns off the light, then you can remove your seatbelt, right? Or like, you don't have to you can take off your seatbelt when we're at a cruising altitude. And then when the pilot turns on the light and you'll hear the sound ding, then put on your seatbelt or else the plane might crash. And so that's sort of, it's not actually a punchline, it's just, there's no easy way to say that. Like I can say it here that I'm standing on the ground, but if I was actually on a plane that's about to take off, I wouldn't even want to talk about that. like I was sitting next to a random person on a plane one time, and she was like, because like I had movies already ready to watch, and when the movie came on the flight and everyone is watching that movie, I'm watching some other movie, right? And then I started joking about disaster movies, and she said, I don't want to talk about disaster movies right now. And I was like, you know what? She's probably right. And so I was like, I'll be quiet. And then, anyways, so that is, I don't know. So, anyways, so the punchline in the Leslie Nielsen movie, Falsely Accused, the movie, is based on the basis of the movie is